Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on this edition of The Inside on EQUINOXE television. I am Bablet Jonathan. He poured out his anger over the deepening socio-political and security crisis in the two Anglophone regions of the Republic of Cameroon, the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. He spoke bitterly about the situation in the northwest and southwest regions. He lamented over the deadly consequences and the poor management of the crisis, notably by government. He is the eldest member of Cameroon's upper house of parliament, Senator von V.E. Mukete, and like him, other Anglophone senators, including Senator Kemende of the Social Democratic Front, the SDF political party, equally spoke bitterly, and there was an uproar in the upper house of parliament when some CPDM members of the upper house of parliament attempted to disrupt the presentation of Senator von V.E. or rather Senator Kemende. We're going to be analyzing these declarations, these strongly worded declarations on the Anglophone crisis. We'll also be taking a look at the deplorable and even deadly conditions of hundreds of thousands of Cameroonians forced out of their homes by violence in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, and they are now seeking refuge in neighboring Nigeria. We'll also be talking about the situation of internally displaced who are also in the thousands, though the figures are now conflicting with the public authorities, notably through the Minister of Territorial Administration, indicating that till now we have over 162,000 internally displaced persons, though the United Nations is presenting figures of over 400,000. We're going to be looking at all this in this edition of the program. Meet our guest in some few seconds. He has been to the nooks and crannies of the northwest region of the country, the northwest and the southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, meeting and bringing aid to the hundreds of thousands of persons displaced by the Anglophone crisis. He has also been to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, meeting the internally displaced persons and, of course, bringing aid to help improve on their deplorable, precarious, and even deadly living conditions. Our guest in this edition of the program is AYAH ABINE, President of the AYAH Foundation. You're welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Babila. Greetings to all those watching from around the world.
All right, we're going to start this edition of the program with the declaration of the eldest member of Cameroon's upper house of parliament, Senator von V.E. Mukete, on the Anglophone crisis. Take a listen. Senator von V.E. Mukete made a strongly worded declaration on the Anglophone crisis, pouring out his anger, speaking bitterly over the poor management of the crisis and, of course, the deadly consequences of the socio-political and security crisis that has been hitting the northwest and southwest regions of the country for close to 3 years today. Take a listen to Senator von V.E. Mukete, eldest member of the Senate.
I want my heart. Please don't do it. These are some of the things which are building some people, and then you want to go and take guns. You are not honest. We are not honest. We don't mean that. If you don't want to present some of these journals of information in the language which I can read, then you don't want me in the country. Then you don't want me. When I say it, I mean it. I'm crying. I'm crying. I think it's very wrong that we should continue like this thing in this country. People, when you do it and you ignore the question of language for the two English divisions, what do you think you are making them to feel? What do you think? People that will not tell you honestly, then you regard them as inferior. Why should you not present the information to them in a way that they can understand? When the elections are to take place, We take the problem, the trouble to produce material in languages which will be understood. We send things to the various people so that they can support us. That is the same thing. Why is it that we have to beg for a journal containing the good work of the government? We should beg that it should be also in English. Why should we beg? It's not even in the interest of the government that this type of policy should go on. It is wrong. When we unified, the thing was produced in English and French. What is there? What's the difference? What is the trouble in our country? English Cameroon and French Cameroon. The only difference is the language. The only difference in language is French and English. But somebody came later on, it's a gun, it's a revolver, and shot at the English, killed the English. That was what I call a mortal shot. A shot against the unification of this country. The unification of this country is made of two languages, and somebody will come and say, no, because of money, let us kill the English. That was the beginning of trouble. And that is what we're sowing the seed, which was germinating to cause the trouble we're having today. It's wrong. It's wrong of us to have done that type of thing. And we swallow and we think it's not nonsense. I mean business. I mean it, and I fought for the unification of this country. It's so strong. English and French take together. Then you come and cut and remove English. What were you doing? Just kicking against the very foundation of this country. And that is what is called political struggle. Now we've got a point where we are to mend. Shall we mend or mar? As Fondlong would say. We are in the position. We are in the position to ask ourselves. Shall we make or mar? Shall we fix or spoil? It is in our business, all of us here, we're in a position. We are in a position to make. We are in a position to make, to correct errors of the past. No, we have made errors which have nearly destroyed our country. I'm saying that. Victor Mukade is saying that. You can quote me. All of you, those of you who have not read my book, get copies and read and understand what I mean. We have almost destroyed our country, but fortunately, we have taken this decision to create these regions. Please, let us make the mistake. Let us not make the mistake of making serious errors in the creation of regions. The regions should be properly created as units to enable each region to function. If I don't want to, they should be ready. These regions should be able to run the radio services, the educational services, the health services, and so on. They should be able to do that. Oh, small countries, which are only perhaps 200,000, they are running governments and running the services. Many companies, very tiny companies, all our regions are big and rewarded with resources. The records show there that our regions are, all of them have enormous resources. We don't think only of the southwest region of petroleum. Regions, all regions of this country are endowed enormously. Their records, perhaps they are confidential, but I'm saying it with confidence that all regions of Cameroon are enormously endowed. If you can only develop these places, and in fact, we talk of agricultural development, what have we done? Where is the Green Revolution? Germany had not only Cameroon as a colony, Morocco was under Germany, Tanganyika and Southwest Africa. These were all German territories. When after the First World War, we were at the same level almost with those other territories. I think Morocco and some other, we were almost on the same territory, German territories, but where are we today? Others have gone ahead. What are they? They perhaps don't even have better resources, but we have lagged behind. And we talk of green revolution. The green revolution can do wonders. The green revolution can do wonders. Where are you? Where are you going to have your talk? Why have we not got a green revolution? I have been to the place where we make tractors. Is it Eboloa? Mighty, the smallest tractor there is 60 horsepower. Mighty big, those they have a place in this country. But a mistake was made that they did not make small tractors which would be useful for family farms. Those 60 horsepower tractors will not go to some, and 80% of your farming is by small farmers. Where is the mechanization for them? A lot of stuff bigger. We need mechanization, small tractors, small planters, small trailers, because if you give money to a small farm and help them with fertilizer to fertilize, that family farm, if it's well done, the produce which it will produce with the use of fertilizers will so much that, in fact, it will be faced with what we call a problem. How will you get that produce out of the farm to the house? The tractor will, the trailer, 7-ton trailer cannot get there. You need a 5-ton trailer, a small tractor. Where will you even, these are things, if we think, if the planning is done, and there's a green revolution done properly. One of the difficulties we've had in this country is that when they've repaired roads, you repair a road today, next year, with the first 2 rains, the road is broken up. Why? Just because the contract did not include compaction. Compaction. It will cost a little more money, but the contract should compaction. If in the United States not every road is tarred, they have earth roads, but there are better earth roads. Why should the earth roads in America be good and the earth roads in Cameroon not be good? It's because over there they're compact. But I know, you must know what I mean. Earth, the soil, it's a wonderful thing. You know that. It's a soil, a block soil, piece of soil, knocked, and can withstand rain. But if we don't compact it, it will be, and now the roads are not compacted, that's why we're having trouble. Compact your earth roads, and you have that soil. And you might even go higher. And of course the soil, subjected to heavy pressure and to high temperature, it becomes almost as strong as a stone. You know that. There are houses, brick houses, which are like 400 or 500 years old. Compact, tell your ministers, and when you form your councils, road councils, please, your roads should be compacted and they will serve your people for years and years. Thank you very much.
Senator Fon V.E. Mukete, eldest member of Cameroon's Upper House of Parliament, speaking there. ABINE, president of the AYAH Foundation, member of the civil society, political observer. When you listen to an old man of more than 100 years old saying, I am crying, what do you feel? How do you feel about that?
There are 2 things you can make out of Fon Mukete's declaration. You could start from the angle of a too late Herod, 100 years old, and it took him quite a long time More precisely talking about the killings of Anglophones in the Anglophone regions. It took him 3 years to get the courage that young people like you and me had from the outset of the crisis to come and say it is wrong for an old man like him to have been afraid for 3 years to a point where it's almost a no return because what's happening there, I don't know, it needs a divine hand to reverse the situation, is very problematic. So it's a too late Herod, but better late
than never.
Than never. If you go to the biblical Paul in the Bible, he took him quite some time to be converted to Christianity. He was killing the Christians. It took him quite a lot of time. But when he got converted, he wrote most parts of the New Testament. He single-handedly, if I can put it that way in quotes, built the church. So better late than never. At least the old people, who biologically speaking, will die before the young people are no more afraid to die. It's a very good thing. We hope you carry on from there, and that this will not just be a speech on the pulpit, but there will be actions that will match those words that he pronounced in that parliament. Actions such as he can go on to create some sort of mutiny, or how do they put it in good English? Lobby other parliamentarians to join him and build force. If the parliamentarians from those regions form a unit, one tried to do so, Weber tried to kill him, if they could form a unit and speak as a people, if at all they have the affection of the people, and unfortunately these are people that have the mandate of the people of those areas, if they could form a unit, a mutiny, and speak in one voice, we'll carry on from there. But Mr. Fon Muketa is doing it alone. Weber did it alone. He stood alone. Even his party abandoned him. AYAH Paul in his time did it. He was alone. Fon Muketa, he is alone. So I don't even see that yielding any fruit. It just be some kind of deja vu.
Alone from the ruling party.
Yes, AYAH Paul too was alone in the ruling party.
Because we have Senator Kemende, for example, who is from the SDF, and other parliamentarians, notably in the lower house of parliaments, who are notably from the SDF, Honorable Mbandam, for example, and others who have been fighting for the parliament to come into this crisis and handle it as a matter of urgency with little or no success so far. But when you hear our authorities today, and they are saying repeatedly that the situation is under control, things being brought to normalcy and so on, and then you hear a member of the ruling party, the Senator Fon Muketa, saying, I am crying. What does that speak to you?
It speaks volumes, but as I was saying, let me just carry on from there. There is something the parliamentarians can do that would speak louder, if at all they care for the people. That's my problem. I don't think they really care as much as they ought to. If you are not okay with what's happening in there, and you know very well you're talking is just some sort of lead and it's a song, nothing would change, walk out of parliament. Walk out of parliament. What are you doing in parliament? The Bandams, all those people you called, Kemende, a wonderful guy, I listened to him. What are you doing there? Walk out of that house. That is the biggest thing they can do to tell the people who sent them there, we sent them there, that they are in the interest of the people. So if I'm Grandpa Muketa, after this speech, and nothing happens, and even the regionalization is talking about, which to me would change nothing, it would just be an added provocation. The fact that even the government that wants the regionalization, put it on paper, has not applied it for over 2 decades, just tells you that they have no consent, they don't care about the people, not just down in the English-speaking regions around Cameroon, they don't just care. So if they cannot apply it, not even that your speech will make them implement it. So, Mr. Muketa, if you wait for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 2 weeks, and they are not changing, they rather add the troops in the English-speaking regions of the country and give them orders to shoot, leave parliament, resign from parliament. People have done it before. Justice AYAH Paul did it. That's the biggest way you could speak, to tell the people, I am with you, I am not with those people who are not listening.
But some observers think that the policy of empty chair or empty chair politics, staying away, is not necessarily yielding fruits, and that's why the Social Democratic Front, for example, had been boycotting elections in the past. But now they say no, boycotting will not yield any fruits. Leaving the parliament will not yield any fruits. Don't you think it's better to be inside there and then continue the fight inside?
I'm not talking of those empty seat things. Those are just, it's just showbiz, it's drama. When they do those things, they go behind and get maybe some peanuts, and they come back and the lawyers go there. I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of resigning from your office. Those people you mentioned, a lot of them are in the bureau, they have some wonderful advantages. You cannot be getting all those advantages, eating well, feeling fat. Your house is free, your phone is free, you have not just the micro project, your own micro project is not a micro project loan, it's a grant. Yours is even 3 times what the normal MPs get. You have bureau allowances, those things are in tens of millions. And you come and sit and you're telling the people the government is not doing, no, that's nonsense, it's bullshit. Resign from parliament. It's only then that I would believe in any of those things that those people are saying. To me, it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's a distraction. To me, it's a distraction.
Senator Fonvi Mukete also talked about the putting in place of the regional councils that you mentioned some few seconds ago, and he said no mistakes should be made in this. The regional council should be properly put in place as the regional elections have been announced for this year. But you think that the regional putting in place, of course, which is part of the decentralization process, is not going to happen?
It's a waste of time. Why? It's a waste of time. And even if the government implements it, you'll be implementing it after a lot of blood has been spilled in the north regions. A lot of blood. I don't know. I have never imagined that such a thing we see happening we saw it in Rwanda. What is happening in those regions is not too different from what's happening in Rwanda. 2 days ago, before I answer your question, 3 days ago, a family called me. Their 14-year daughter had been raped by 5 people. Let me not try to identify the people, because as a jurist, I've not carried out an independent investigation to be sure of the facts. I don't want to do some kind of publicity of some bad people down there. 5 people raped her daughter. That's just one out of a lot of what is happening. The girls are very unsafe. I thought it was just the young boys because they are killed. Anything that moves somewhere around there is shot. The girls are sex toys for people out there who are in the name of carrying out whatever, in the name of war. Do you think those people will ever forget this nonsense that is happening to them? Okay, let me come to decentralization. It will solve nothing. What Mr. Mukete, Grandpa Mukete, a lot of respect for him, Mr. Granddad, may not have read in that law is the fact that there is a government delegate that is appointed and he lords over the elected persons. So you would go on electing your regional councillors who ought to have a lot of power. They're elected people, they have the mandate, they speak for the people. You're going to electing your parliamentarians, senators like he is, and there is a government delegate who has authority over the region. So anything the council wants to do, for example, he goes and meets the government delegates and tells him, sir, please, I would like to buy a pen or 10 pens for some 10 students in Gokekunja. Can we do this? Then the man will just fold his hands, you know, the French style of doing things, and tell him, what do you have to offer? Are you offering me half that money? Or, you know, just give me the project, let me handle it. If you don't want it, he doesn't append his signature on the project. It's a waste of time. Decentralization will solve nothing. Grandpa Mukete should please just forget about that. It solves nothing.
What should be done? Federalism?
Federalism would have solved this problem from the outset if a stone in time would have been thrown, a stitch in time would have been thrown to stitch that trouser that was just threatening to part way from the joints. It has completely parted way now. I've been in the bushes a number of times. We have been in the bushes a number of times. From the outset, we were telling the people, and they were really waiting for federation. They were saying, let us go back to 1961 and it will solve this thing. The government responded. I don't need to tell you, you know the details. Shootings, the killings, the arrests, it's still going on. It is 10 times worse than what the media is relaying. 10 times worse. The only towns where our troops have some shame is Boya and Limbe. Limbe is relatively the safest of towns. I could put it at about safe. When I'm talking of Limbe, I'm talking of Limbe proper. I'm not talking of Mile 4, Wututu, because those are war zones. They're not too different from Tole, Boya, Mile 16, Mile 17, and all that. Boya is trembling. Out of those 2 towns, there is no safe town there. So, would decentralization solve the problem? I don't think so. How do we disarm those people who have guns? Because they are a big deal. Not you and I. We can forgive the madness that has been done down there. We can forgive it. It will take time, maybe 10 years. Those people with guns, how do you disarm those people with guns? It's teaching time. Would have saved 9.
There is an institution that has been created for that purpose, a disarmament demobilization. There is an institution that has been created for that purpose, a disarmament, demobilization and reintegration committee that has been created to disarm the pro-independence fighters, bring them back into the normal life train, and so on and so forth.
Mr. Babila, we have gone beyond, we have beaten all the records of mediocrity and stupidity, beaten all those records. You are in war. When you declare war, if war was not declared, I would have understood. You declare war, so you recognize that there is a force on the other side opposing you. That's the first thing. So you're in war, you are killing them. They are killing you. You have not called for a ceasefire, and you're telling them to drop their guns. And the dropping of guns is not for both of you, as it ought to be. I mean, both persons, our troops and the armed civilians, is for those people you're killing. They're telling you to drop their guns. That's a joke. It's the stupidity of the century.
Are you saying that's going to work? They're not going to succeed?
It is not working.
We've been having some reports from the Territorial Administration Ministry indicating that some people are
fake news,
dropping their guns and so on.
Fake news. Don't believe anything coming from any other ministry except that particular ministry. Don't believe anything coming from that ministry unless you see it. That ministry came up with some figures some days ago, saying international organizations are popping up figures and all that. That was one of the biggest jokes too of the decade.
Indicating
a ministry that has sent nobody to Nigeria to do a count of the figures. Nobody, not even the political chief, has gone to Nigeria. Are you understanding this? That's why you're talking of those parliamentarians just laughing. They are jokes. They are jokes. None of them. It is their electorate that is in Nigeria and in the bushes. None of them has stepped foot there. They're in parliament enjoying themselves
the Social
and making
Democratic
noise.
Fund tried to go there some months back.
It's rubbish.
The project was...
No project
was hindered.
No project was. This is just the difference between a fake preacher and a preacher who backs his words with action. So a fake preacher will say, do what I say and not what I do. You justify your faith with your actions. That's what the Christian will tell you. March to that border and ask for authorization with your cargo loaded of stuff to go across the border. And if you're stopped there, okay. When the AYAH Foundation tried going there, we were stopped. We wrote to the High Commission, Nigerian High Commission, we were never responded to. 3 months. I even went there and said, Mr. High Commissioner, what's happening? I've written to you for permission to go to Nigeria and feed our people. And they tore the letter, they surely tore the letter and threw the doors because they could not even find the reference. The letter I wrote, I had to pull out mine. This is mine. You don't even have the reference. I don't want to talk about those. They are diplomats. It was just some sort of a mutiny. Nobody was even giving us an ear, apart from Israel and Germany. That's how we marched with reaction. We marched to Nigeria. We went to the border, we were stopped once. We found an alternative route, and we've been there 10 times.
And we'll be
in 14 months.
We'll be coming back to that shortly. Now, talking about what you were highlighting earlier, notably the facts and figures that are being presented, notably by the Ministry of Territorial Administration.
He has never stepped foot in Nigeria.
When he just took over office, there was an instruction that he gave to divisional officers, senior divisional officers, to send information up to the ministry within a very limited time. I think that was something like 2 days. Information should be moving up. So probably the figures that are being presented by the Ministry of Territorial Administration, 162,000 internally displaced persons, are coming from the officials of the ministry who are on the ground. And he also mentioned some serious partners, that's how you call it, some serious partners who want to see an end to the crisis. So, but there's a very big gap between the figures from the ministry and the figures from the United Nations.
I've told you to take nothing coming from the Ministry of Territorial Administration seriously. Nothing at all. Anything coming from there, take it with a pinch of salt. It's some sort of, I won't be I won't be exaggerating to call it fake
You
news.
have been on the ground.
I've been on the ground.
Bushes, you've been to
the bushes.
People are and so on.
We went somewhere June last year. Those people in that particular place, I won't call it, because we've seen the troops move into, oh Jesus Christ. I won't even call the place, I don't want to give them information, free information. We went there and we were amazed with the crowd just in that particular position, somewhere in the bush. There was a market there. We helped them even pull up a small school so that the children could be just counting their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s from time to time. There are a lot of tents, locally made tents. We built them a lot of tents too. And we're amazed. We're thinking we'd meet about 500 people. We met, I think it was more than 3,000 people just in that particular place. That was June last year. Now, I was along that road yesterday, and the situation is as it was last year. It's worse, not even as it was. Let me just give you an example. Between Munya and Kumba, there are about 13 villages there. Banga, Bakundi, Bomba, Bakundi, Tiki, Balangi, about 30. Completely deserted. What do you think is the population of that area? Let's just estimate that it's about 30,000 people. Let's just estimate 30,000 people. Go to the BLM, Alomenji, Wabane, all those people, completely empty. There is Field Marshal and all those people, AYAH and all that, going against our troops. Completely deserted. If you go there, you're ready to die. That division, population, let's just estimate how many people. I've been used to figures there during political whatever, and I can tell you with confidence that we'll have about over 100,000, let me just be modest, 100,000 people there. You go to Manu, the most heat of the divisions. How many people do you have in Manu? Aquia, where I hail from, it's the most populated area. When I was some people of Elekam that time, we had about 33,000 registered people for elections, so-called elections. And you put the kids inside, you put those...
The level of the lower house of parliament for the Anglophone crisis to be put on the table as a matter of urgency. And this has not happened for the number of sessions that the Social Democratic Front has been striving for this. And at the level of the Senate, it's practically the same thing until Senator Von V. Imukete came up with this declaration, followed by other Anglophone members of the upper house of parliament like Senator Kemende, which almost led to an uproar when CPDM senators attempted to disrupt his presentation.
Absolutely.
When you look at this, what's your
what do I make of it?
Of the concern of the parliament?
The concern of the government, because it is a CPM-dominated parliament. We have three arms of government. Parliament is part of government, so it's dominated by CPDM, is their thing. They are sending a strong message to the Anglophone community that we don't care about you. I've said this over and over. Those people don't care about us. They don't care. Look at what happened up north last year. I think it was in the month of July, I think so. Some Nigerian students, or possibly dull students, because I don't see why intelligence students will even come to Cameroon for whatever internship, actually dull students, they came to the north to carry out some whatever, and maybe God is even angry with them, and he sends lightning, strikes a tree or whatever, and it falls and it just scratches their skin, and the entire government mobilizes to take care of foreigners. Foreigners. They're putting in good hospitals, even food. They are promised that they will be taken care of very to the end of their stay and all that. And what's happening to your brothers? Does charity not begin at home? What's happening to your brothers in the north and southwest regions? They don't care. They're sending troops. The mobilization of the military in those regions, I don't think I ever saw that kind of mobilization against Boko Haram. And no doubt, we even went as far as negotiating with Boko Haram, terrorists, killing more than 1,200 people among women, troops and citizens. We negotiated with them, gave them millions of dollars, I don't know if it was dollars or francs, to even get more sophisticated weapons and kill our people. And you cannot talk with your brothers in court. Those people don't care about us. That's why I keep saying, those people in parliament are joking. They're doing some kind of drama.
What should Parliament have done?
Leave Parliament.
With regards to the powers,
Leave
the
Parliament.
powers of the Parliament.
It is the biggest statement parliamentarians can make. If you're not okay in a civilized society, you step off. Leave that place. It is the biggest way they can speak.
That's
You will never talk there.
that's
Very soon
talking
they'll
about-
physically be hitting them with sticks.
That's referring to you're talking about the
Resigning.
English-speaking parliamentarians,
Absolutely.
notably those from the
Those
opposition and so on.
regions.
But what about those who are in the ruling CPD and political party?
They
have
are
been
part of the
tactically
people.
silent.
They are part of the people who don't care.
Even those who are from the northwest and southwest regions
They
who
don't
have
care.
been affected equally by this crisis.
They don't care. The people who vote you into office, the people who send you to parliament, they are killing them in your regions, they are killing your electorate, and you're in parliament. You're sitting in parliament. If you really care about those people, you resign from parliament. Resign, leave that place. That is the only way. You are talking with your actions. You're not talking with making that noise. It's not necessary. What do you think would be the downpour of Fonbekete? They'll start throwing arrows at him. He would stay there in parliament still getting his big monies. He has spoken. Nothing. It's just some refrain. Nothing happens. It's just a waste of time. It's showbiz. Resign from parliament. There you make a strong statement.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the consequences of the Anglophone crisis, notably talking about the persons who have been kicked out of their homes by the crisis. You have been to the bushes in different parts of the two English-speaking regions. You have been to parts of the littoral and even other parts of the West region where you have the refugees, or better still, the IDPs who are there. You were recently in neighboring Nigeria, where you met hundreds of thousands of them who are living in very difficult, precarious, and even deadly conditions. We're going to take a special story by a special envoy to Nigeria, Mbu Stella, who will be taking us through the ordeal, the difficult situation, the hardship, and of course the precarious conditions in which the thousands of Cameroonians who are now seeking refuge in President Buhari's country are living. She was there with the AYAH Foundation. This is her report.
At 113 kilometers on the other side of the Cameroonian border town of EQUINOXE is situated the Adakom refugee settlement. Women and children form the majority of the over 7,000 registered Cameroonian refugees in the camp. Deadly clashes between the separatist Ambazonian fighters and Cameroon's defense and security forces is obliging them out of their homes, villages and country. Since 2017, when the crisis grew into an armed conflict, many have continued to flee their homes and live as refugees under terrible conditions in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These populations live in extremely overcrowded camps, making them highly vulnerable to diseases, and for the young girls and their mothers, unwanted pregnancies. Despite government's emergency humanitarian assistance, the creation of the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Commission, among other measures, to lay to rest what is today known in the Anglophone regions as the battle for independence, the crisis in these regions has continued to render many homeless and hungry. The situation is worsening as the burning of houses is on the increase. Lives are being lost. The rate of kidnappings for ransom and looting has also taken an upward trend. This and more may never be forgotten by anyone who lives in.
I was selling in Bamenda as they burned at the Bamenda food market. They burned all my shops. That is, I am just standing with my children.
I came here because of hardship. I live in the tent of another woman. I put a loin on the ground for my son and I to sleep. I am a widow. I lost my husband to the crisis. I have been thinking of what I have left behind. My poultry, my goats, and a cocoa farm.
I come from AYAH and I left many things. They burned my bike from AYAH subdivision. Is there. I helped myself through that bike, and I have a house, a 6-room house. Everything has been destroyed. So my farms, I also have a cocoa farm. Everything is up.
Although they have a place where the fear of the unknown is far from preoccupying them, They are in desperate need for potable water, healthcare, food, education, just to name a few.
We suffer here a lot. No food, no decent sleep space, no toilet, no water.
No water.
When we have water supply for 1 day, we will suffer for 4 days.
Better place for
We don't have where to sleep. Soon it will be the rainy season. When it rains, all the water will be on my children.
They sleep for underwater.
My children go to school. Others have had uniforms, but mine are yet to. It will be good if uniforms are provided for them too.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees has been giving out cash-based intervention of 7,200 naira as allowance per month per registered refugee, an amount many say is grossly insufficient given the sizes of some of their families.
The 7,200 naira given is not sufficient for a family like mine. I stay with matured women. It is out of the 7,200 naira that we buy sanitary pads every month, pants, and every other thing.
Buy everything. At times
when my child falls sick, it is out of the same amount that they will be treated. My husband is not able to provide for the family.
The non-distribution of the CBI at the Ogoja refugee camp for some months recently sparked protests at the camp.
when they give our money
doesn't reach us. They share only to those in the camp. Not all in the camp even collect the 7,200 naira.
That last week,
Last Tuesday, we protested, and on Wednesday, we were asked to write our names. We did, and we were promised the list will be put up on Thursday. Until this Saturday, nothing has been done yet.
Over 40,000 Cameroonians have already fled to Nigeria, with hundreds of thousands internally displaced. The number is on the rise as the crisis persists despite government's effort in bringing peace.
The strategy is that we start with those who are in the villages, those who don't hurt themselves, so that when those who are eaten will see what is done for them, they will have the courage to come out of the bushes and present themselves and register to have the aid, the assistance.
Behind these statistics are people filled with unique life experiences. They are mothers longing to return home.
we like to go back now.
We want to go back. We want the crisis resolved. We run away, abandoning our farms and everything. We want to go back home.
Fathers yearning to walk again, and their children searching for a childhood. The people who live in the camp depend greatly on donors like the AYAH Foundation for Survival. The foundation is a Cameroonian-based non-governmental organization which has been reaching out to refugees as well as internally displaced persons. Recently, their humanitarian gesture extended not only to the refugees with food and other household necessities, but to the refugee students and parents. A move appreciated by Mr. Upanupong, Principal of Government Technical College, Ogoja, and the beneficiary students.
To be on uniform 75 hours, like as it is now, if any foreign body stray into the school, we cannot really detect immediately. But once all of them are on uniform, once anybody stray in, we can fish out the person immediately. Those are one of the challenges we have.
Despite the challenges faced along the roads, ranging from passing within localities during crossfire, and at a time when many who can help fear to dare, the AYAH Foundation is making several trips.
The place of the key is in school, and that is studying in the healthiest of conditions, healthiest health-wise, mental-wise, financial-wise. So all those things put together. That's why I brought uniforms for them and books. We've been sharing a lot of books to them too. So they're studying in very good state of mind. But more importantly, they have to get back to the country, and they cannot do that unless there is a call for a ceasefire. and the war gets to an end, they are better off back home than here. What keeps the AYAH Foundation going is love for humanity. We've been into it for a very long time. We understand what it takes, we understand what it means for someone to be out of his country with just the clothes he has on him. We understand the comfort in which we find ourselves back home, even amidst the war. It's better we're back home than being here. So it's that love for mankind. The love is such that, however dangerous it is doing what we're doing, we just have to keep it coming, while we pray that this crisis gets to an end as soon as possible, so that we can concentrate on building lives and not helping people to survive out of their homeland.
The Adagom refugee settlement is 1 out of 4 in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, host to thousands of fleeing Cameroonians. The refugee hosting communities are already living under the poverty line. They are in dire need of assistance themselves, as their ability to help is being stretched to the limit. Only one condition, the refugees say, will guarantee their comeback to their country.
We want the United Nations to stop the war in our homeland.
These people, as well as those living in internal displacements, long for the day when insecurity due to the crisis will only be read in history books. They yearn for the day when they shall see their homes again, for even as they are in distress away from homeland, they can hardly forget home.
A special envoy to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Stella, reporting there. She was in the team of the AYAH Foundation visiting the refugees in President Buhari's country, and the president of the AYAH Foundation, ABINE, was equally in that team. It was quite a difficult journey.
Yeah, it was really difficult and very, very emotional. Just before I even come to the journey, so you're looking at those images, and those people in Parliament and the Senate are looking at those images, and those people, you're talking about the SDF, for example, 85, 90% possibly of their electorate is composed of people there, and all those people who are voted for in the ruling party, those are their electorate there. They are telling you they are caring about those people, while they stay in a parliament that does not care about those people and have a comfortable life for themselves. Fake news. If those people care about those people, and they know very well that even their constitutional right to talk, parliament comes from the word the French word parler, parle. Even that right is stopped in that house, where they have to defend the interests of the people who have sent them there, and they stay in those places. Then it will just any madman. You take only mad people to believe in those people that are in parliament, sent there by people in the English-speaking areas of the country. Only madmen will believe in all the drama they are doing there in the name of representing the people who sent them there. A lot of whom have been killed. They are still killing them. Women are raped. Over 50,000 in Nigeria, hundreds of thousands in the English-speaking part of the country, over 200,000 possibly in the bushes, and they are there in the name of whatever in parliament. Is just a disgrace. Anyway, as I told you from the outset, we're in a country where disgrace is not yet born in Cameroon. We are not ashamed of anything. Those people are a joke, they're a disgrace. As I was talking, it was a very painful trip there. You see, I'm getting too emotional because I don't understand how in the country, if we're in the country, people can't ignore what's happening there. They're killing people every day, owing to that nonsense. Lots of people are going in. As we came into Nigeria, the day we came in, we were there for 10 days. 1,000 people crossed the border and came in that same day. From the north.
And increasing by the day.
They're increasing by the day. The UN is doing its best. They cannot do beyond that. They are also stretched. Way too much stretched. This is the first time we've gone there. This year, last year we were there 9 times.
And even schools that are receiving the refugee children are also...
they are stretched, more than stretched. That particular school is a technical school, just about 3-4 kilometers from the camp. There are more than 2,000 students studying there. More than 2,000. They need uniforms. They don't even have school fees to pay. It is, I don't know how you can have any manner of love for the people ruling this country with all the madness that is going on in the English-speaking regions of the country.
All right, we're going to take the press review and we'll be right back in a few minutes. Cameroon's upper house of parliament, Fonvi Mukete, took the Senate by storm, saying the Biya regime has failed and that federalism is the only way out of the Anglophone crisis. The Guardian Post says after Fonvi Mukete's outburst, Anglophone lawmakers stirred an uproar in the Senate over the Anglophone crisis. The session went rowdy after Francophone Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) senators attempted to disrupt Senator Kemendi's presentation. The post-weekender highlights reactions of Anglophone lawmakers and civil society after what it qualifies as Mukete's Senate earthquake. The paper also reports that Defense and Security Forces brutally neutralized a police inspector in the southwest regional chief town Boya. Another issue of the Guardian Post reports Territorial Administration Minister Atanganji's last warnings of threats to ban the CRM, to ban the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM political party, and as reported by The Horizon, incarcerated CRM National President Professor Maurice Kamto sues Biya at the United Nations for arbitrary detention. We are still with our guest, AYAH ABINE, president of the AYAH Foundation, and recently you have been criticizing the struggle for the restoration of the independence of the former Southern Cameroons. Why are you criticizing the struggle?
Yeah, Mr. Babila, the Post newspaper just helps me introduce my comments on this particular topic. You see, I keep telling our leaders, that's why they don't like me. I just speak the truth. You see, I'm not there to make friends. And if I don't make friends, it will not be true lies. Just keep telling the truth. You are with the heartless government on the other side. They are just doing anything they want to do there. It appears the international community has told them, just do what you want to do, we're backing you. And you know that they're doing just anything. Killing people, burning down villages. We have at least 150 villages burnt down. And nothing is happening to them. The people have gone, they're stretched. Economically, financially, morally, spiritually, they are really stretched. The only thing you can do to show these people some love is to ensure that all the actions you take are in the interest of the people. You cannot say you are protecting the people, you are defending the people, you are fighting for, I don't know, whatever, and at the same time inflicting untold pain on those people. How do you lock people down for 10 days? Whoever is doing it, it is wrong yesterday, it's wrong today, it will be wrong tomorrow. 10 days, locking people down for 10 days in their homes, it's unreasonable. It is foolish. Who can store food in his house for 10 days? Gone are those days where parents even had money. Now they have been depleted, sold completely. Even if you get fish or whatever, I don't know how. And it's always a short notice. If somebody just pops up with a voice note and it becomes law, and you don't have to challenge it. You're fighting for freedoms, and you're shutting down freedoms. All the minds that try to tell you, no, this is wrong. We are on ground zero, it is wrong. No, shut up or we shut you down. It is wrong. We are told it's announced again for May. Those people should think about it. 10 days, if there ought to be a shutdown, shut people down for 2 days. If there ought to be, shut them down for 2 days or 3 days, not 10 days. It is foolish, it is wrong.
All right, your last words before we go.
If there is any reasonable people listening to us, should tell those people in parliament that if they are serious about this thing, if they are speaking for the people, they should leave that parliament. They have no place there. The people are telling them, we don't care about you, we don't care about your people, and you don't even have to speak. And if the government can listen, if at all they listen, they don't even listen. Well, time shall tell. The end justifies the means.
AYAH ABINE, president of the AYAH Foundation, thanks for accepting to be a guest in this edition of the program. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.